Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Augustina. If this is your first time of tuning in, you are highly welcome. If this is not your first time, I want you to know that I appreciate you. I appreciate your support, and I want you to know you are the reason why I am being encouraged to, be making these videos, to be creating these contents. You can't enjoy your dance when no one is watching, right? So I thank you so much for your continuous support on this platform. For those of you who are following me on this platform, you know that I recently posted some videos which I made on Q&A, okay, where I answered some questions that my followers, my readers frequently ask. Sometimes I get some messages from Instagram, on Facebook, and also on one-on-one when I meet them in person. Most of them want to know about me, and I don't have problem with someone wanting to know something about me, and I really appreciate it when you send me the message, or when you meet me on one-on-one and you said when you have the opportunity, or when the occasion occurs, and you are like, I want to know this about you. I don't have problem answering these questions, because I believe that when people get to know you, when you share your story, when you share your personal story, your personal experience, your true life story, people get to know you better. People get to understand you to some level, and that is how you bond with people. That's how you create connection. And so I don't have problem, making that Q&A I made last time on 2 separate videos. I probably will still, film another video on that Q&A, because that way I am encouraging my followers and my readers and those that are watching me to know that I really want to connect with them as a person. So I don't have problem sharing those videos. On the contrary, when I shared that video, I realized how far I have gone on that journey of healing process. I always say in all my videos that healing is a process. It's a process. You don't have a time frame, and you don't fast forward healing. And healing can occur anywhere, anytime, when you least expect it. More reason I love sharing my story. I really enjoyed making those videos, because it took me back to memories that you thought you forgotten, memories you thought that no longer weighs on you. But each time you touch that part of you, those memories, you realize that you realize how deep the wound went. And that way you can be grateful that you are able to heal those kinds or those types of deep wounds. Many people don't heal from it. Many people don't come out of that place of deep hurt. Most people carry this hurt. Most people carry this hurt all their life. They meet new people, they go into new relationships, carrying all these hurts with them, all these pains. And many people have allowed themselves to be shaped, by these pains. I strongly believe that, what happens to us in life does not necessarily mean that they come to us, or they happen to us with the aim or with the intention to destroy us. On the contrary, I strongly believe that what happens to us helps strengthen us, helps make us to become more wiser, more stronger, and to be able to make better choices in future. And that is why I don't have issues with sharing my story. I will encourage you to, if the occasion presents itself, if the chance presents to you, don't shy away from sharing your story, because you don't know who you are inspiring, you don't know who you are, motivating. Your story can help heal a life out there. But just because of what he or she had you share, what he or she had you say as you share your story, that thing can be like a turning point for that person. You don't know. I strongly believe that when you shy away or you are not encouraged to share your story, you are doing a disservice to someone out there who need that particular thing that you want to share. I thank all of you that watched those videos. I thank all of you that left your comments. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to press notification buttons so that each time I upload new contents, you will be the first to be notified. And another thing is, leave your comments. Most of you here that are watching my videos, I appreciate you. But how do I know who you are when you don't subscribe and when you don't leave your comments? Like, comment, share. The reason you need to share is when you share my message with the people around you, you are rendering a service to them. You are helping them, as you benefit from what I shared, as you benefit from my message, and in turn you share my video out, they too will benefit from that video. So that is why I encourage you to share these videos. Subscribe, like, share, and leave your comments so that I will know that we are connected. So, well, today's video, I just want to share this thing with you. I have nothing in particular to share, as I am stronger and I'm getting stronger, and by His grace I am strong. But I just want to use these few minutes to encourage each and every one of us. You that is watching this video, you have your own stories. We are all called to serve. We are all called to serve humanity. We are all called to serve the world. And there is a reason why you are allowed to go through those experiences that you went through in life. There is a purpose for that, pains that you went through. There is a purpose for that ugly experience that you went through. In each and every one of us, there is a message. And those message comes from, the ugly things that we have been through in life. From our mess, our message is born. And your message is not for you to be kept for you. It is not for you to, lock it away in a locker. Your message is for somebody out there who need the lessons that you have learned through what you went through. Your message is for somebody out there who, needed that encouragement for that day, needed that inspiration, that motivation. As the scripture says, iron sharpeneth iron. Don't keep your message to yourself. Serve the world with your message. Serve the world with your value. You are loaded with values in that message that you are not sharing. Just like Miles Monroe said, that the wealthiest place in the world is the cemetery. The wealthiest place in the world is the cemetery, the graveyard. People go to the grave carrying their, dreams unborn, visions unborn, talents, gifts yet to be discovered. People go to the grave carrying books unwritten, poems unwritten, songs that nobody will ever hear. People go to the grave carrying their paintings, drawings, and it does not benefit anybody. That is this service. You are robbing the world that part of you that they need. We have to, fill a gap. That is the reason why we are here on earth. That is the reason why we are in a time like this. And there is also a reason why you were allowed to go through what you went through. Don't shy away when the opportunity occurs, or when you are called to serve with your story. I will encourage you to serve with your story. Share your story. I wasn't ashamed of myself when I was sharing all those things. Most times people don't feel confident enough, or they are not comfortable enough to share their stories, because most times they are not like they are ashamed of their story, of their scars. They fear judgment. Most of them fear judgment. And another thing again why people don't feel comfortable or don't have confidence in sharing their story is because they fear being judged. They fear losing important people in their life. How will those people react? Maybe what will they now think about me? What will they say? They fear rejection. They fear being judged. Something dropped in my mind as I just said this thing now, and I want to clear this. I want to use this opportunity to clear it. I was speaking with a friend last time, and we were debating on the fact that to judge somebody is not it's not the same thing as when you want to correct the person. There's a big difference, to my understanding, between to judge somebody and to correct that person. Well, to me, when I feel that you are judging me, or when I say that you are judging me, what I mean is when you, punish me because of what I did that you don't like, or what I said, or the way I comported that, or the way I acted, or I behaved, whatever is the whatever is the circumstance, or whatever happened, and you don't like it, and you kind of rendered judgment, because there won't be judgment without condemnation. There won't be judgment without punishment. Judgment comes with punishment, and punishment can come in so many ways. Some punishment can come like when you refuse to see that person again, when you refuse to talk to the person, when you refuse to pick their calls, when you are cutting the person off because to you don't accept what they did. You don't want it, you don't like it, you want, you are trying to fix that person, trying to fix the person's life. So judgment is different from correcting the person. And remember, the scripture made it clear that we should correct ourselves, our brothers, our sisters, whomever that is in our life. When you want to correct somebody, that correction, if it has to come at all, should come from a place of love and compassion. Compassion is you putting yourself in that person's shoe. But even if you put yourself in that person's shoe, your pains and that person's pains can never be, measured. It is an error when you want to measure your pains with another person's pains. It is an error when you want to compare yourself with another person, or compare your pains, or compare the level of hurt. You are you, and that person is that person. You don't feel the same way. Your heart doesn't beat at the same rating, or at the same. It's like when the person stops breathing, then your heart has to stop breathing. You understand? So the reason why I don't know, as I was just sharing, something come up my mind, and I said, let me just clarify this part. I don't know why I'm saying it. I don't know why I felt in my heart that I need to correct this, because most times, as we all know, no one is above mistake. We all make mistakes, and that's why it is good to be open to learn, because when you are open to learn, that is when you have the opportunity to learn more and more. And when you feel that you have learned enough, that you know it all, you are putting limitations on yourself. But when you are open to learn, you give yourself chance, and you allow yourself and give yourself opportunity to expand and to grow the more. So it's very hot outside here. So you don't measure your pains with other people's pains. You don't measure your experience with other people's experience. So when you correct the person from the place of love, from the place of compassion, from the place of humility, there's a difference. There's a very big difference. You are helping that person to become a better person. Okay, you are not like condemning the person, because judgment comes with dispress. You dispress the person. Judgment comes with anger. Judgment comes with hatred. Judgment comes with all these negative emotions, and that is why judgment goes hand in hand with punishment. You see the difference between judging somebody and correcting that person. To correct somebody is not the same thing. And mind you, there are some ways of correcting someone that is also an error. An error, that is wrong, because what is good for you might not be right for that person. So when you are correcting the person, you must be humble enough to put yourself in that person's shoe, because one thing is to correct the person constructively, another is to correct someone destructively. So then when your correction now is not constructive but destructive, it is not healthy, and it is not coming from a place of love. As children of God, we always we will learn, or we must learn, to always do things from a place of love and compassion, whatever you do. So that said, I wasn't having any issue sharing my story, and I encourage you to share your story. Don't be afraid of what people will say. People will always say. It is better you share your story and let them say anyways than you don't share your story and they still talk. So share your story. Listen, the people who cares don't mind, and those who mind don't even care. I don't know if what I said made sense. The people who really cares about you don't mind, and those who mind don't care about you. Made sense? So be yourself. Feel free to share. It is also true that there are some parts of us that we are not willing to share, especially with the public. So take your time. When you are confident enough and when you are comfortable enough to share that part of you that you want to share with the world, then go ahead and do that. Don't be afraid of what people will say, or what God allowed you to go through that experience, and He gave you the grace, the strength to be able to survive that moment, that situation, and you are now thriving. So why won't you, allow somebody out there to benefit from what you have learned all this, while all what you have learned from that experience, The reason I don't have problem sharing my story is because I have come to, realize that sharing my story, I myself, I benefited from other people's stories. Let's take the Bible, for example. When you go through the Bible from the Old Testament to the New Testament, you will see stories of so many people, great leaders, people that God used as an example, people that God used to make great impact in the world, especially among Christians. So so their stories contributed in shaping the woman I am today. The story of Joseph, I learned a lot when I was still a teenager reading the Bible. The story of Joseph inspired me a lot. I learned a lot of things, a lot of messages from the story of Joseph, from coat of many colors. When you are being gifted, when you are being adorned, so many, skills or strengths that might be intimidating to other people. They don't like your presence. Your presence is like irritates them because they are jealous, they are envious. They want what you had, and instead of appreciating those things that they love to have for themselves, they see in you. That is human nature, when people are acting from a place of ego, they are still vibrating on a very low frequency of vibration. And the highest frequency of vibration is love. When you can vibrate from the frequency of love, all these things will not be a problem, because you will no longer be vibrating from a place of flesh or ego. But there are so many people who are still vibrating from that very low low frequency of negative energy, ego. And they are envious of you, they are jealous of you. And from the story of Joseph, the coat of many colors, you can't take it away. If God gave it to that person, God has given it to that person. Your jealousy or your envy can never take that coat of many colors away from him. The coat was given to him for a purpose. I learned a lot from the story of Joseph. I learned how to forgive, unconditional. Forgive those who plotted evil. Just as the scripture said, I think it's in the book of Genesis, what the enemy meant for evil, God has turned around for my own good, What his brothers meant for evil, but they don't know that that thing they see in him, that they wanted to destroy, that thing was their salvation. That thing was the only way that they will ever survive as Israel. But because of their, I don't know if I use the word wickedness of heart is correct, or should I use the word ignorance? They plotted against him. But did their plotting stop Joseph from becoming whom God created him to be? No. Did their envy and jealousy stop Joseph? No. Their envy, their jealousy, their plotting against him all contributed in pushing him forward right into the place where God wanted him to be, right into the palace. When we learn to do things from the place of love, God is going to do exploits with our life. Inferiority complex, or maybe fear, or maybe unresolved self inner conflict. Most of these things are what is causing so much damages, especially among Christians, that the love of God looks as if, it looks as if there is no longer power in the Word of God. It looks as if there is no longer power when the children of God comes together. But the truth is that the energy that we carry most times hinders God's love to flow from us to others, because you cannot share what you don't have. So I will always encourage us to remember that we are the product of love. God is love and we are God's children. And as I'm talking to you, I'm talking to myself. As I'm sharing, I am learning, right? Because one of the benefits for teachers is that when you are teaching, you have to study, you have to research. And the more you research, the more you study, the more you learn. So as you teach, you are learning, you are growing. So this is the story of Joseph. I can stay on the story of Joseph for the next 3 hours. I can write a whole book, what the story of Joseph, the impact, the positive impact that the story of Joseph left in my life. It changed my life in a positive way. It gave me hope. When I read the story of Joseph, it gave me hope. It gave me hope when I was in my wilderness, when I was in my darkest moments. I remember the story of Joseph. I read the story of Joseph. I followed it, and I thank God for giving me the inspiration that when I read, I understand the knowledge, or to understand deeper things of deeper things of God. Because you need wisdom, godly wisdom. You need insight. You need the grace, to be able to understand certain deep insights or revelation from certain things that we read in the Bible, if not all. A lot of things I learned from Joseph, that even your parents sometimes might not see what you are seeing. Your parents might not even believe in you. They might even doubt you. The father of Joseph doubted him. He said, "Do you mean that I, your mother, and all your brothers will one day bow down to you, even the sun and the moon?" Sure, the father will say, "You must be crazy upstairs. I think this coat of many colors that I put on you is getting into your head. I'll better remove that coat and keep aside." But he was just displaying himself. He was just being real, he was just being real. And he was sharing his dreams. Another story in the Bible that contributed in shaping my mentality, shaping my beliefs and my values today. There are many, but I just want to make sure one or two stories, Another one is that of David. We all know the story of David, the poor shepherd boy. The story of David made me to understand, oh God, this God we serve is a powerful God, is a wonderful God, is a father. It's a father with a big heart, so compassionate and so loving, that he does not call the qualified, but he qualifies the God. He does not choose based on your countenance, your outward appearance. He does not choose based on your academic qualifications or status. He does not choose based on your bank accounts. He does not choose based on who you think you are. The Bible made us to understand. The Bible made us to understand that God uses the foolish thing to shame the wise. God is wonderful. And see how God rejected all his brothers. See how God rejected all the brothers of David when Saul came to when Samuel came with the oil to anoint them. The father brought out other of his son, but God rejected all of them. He sent to look for David. He said, "I will wait until you go and bring him." When God chooses you, He has chosen you. God is love, and you cannot impress God. You can't impress God. You can't impress God. God will use you when you allow yourself to be used. When you realize that, and you recognize and accept the truth that you are called to serve. To serve does not mean you become a servant to everybody, in the sense of, making yourself a doormat to be worked on. Mostly, we as believers, as Christian Pentecostal churches, we easily recognize it as ministering, because we are asked to minister. So when we say minister, I want you to understand that to minister is to serve. They go hand in hand. So we are all called to minister. We are all called to serve. Okay? Serve people, serve humanity, serve the world. And when you share your story, just as the few ones I mentioned, okay, your story will help impact other people's life. If God is not ashamed of sharing those stories or allowing those stories to be contained in the scriptures, then why should we be ashamed of sharing our stories? The Old Testament, stories, or the New Testament stories is the today's motivational videos that you watch. It's people that have the confidence, or are confident enough, or are comfortable enough to allow you into some part of their life that they are willing to share with you. They share it because they want to help you. They want to empower you. They want to comfort you, motivate you, lift you up. Anyway, in any way. But the bottom line is, when we share our story, we help create that change that we want to see in the world. When you share your story, you are helping somebody out there who might be going through what you went through, might be experiencing it at this moment. But just because you shared your story, the person looks at your listens to your story, watches you as you share your story, and one word or two coming out from your mouth, just maybe a sentence that you just said, few words from your mouth, can be that turning point for that person. You never can tell. Another thing why you should not hide your story is, when you share your story, you encourage others to also come up with their own stories and to share their stories too. So yeah, people want to know how you were able to go through all those experiences, and you are able to be standing, and you are today thriving. That is the reason why we are allowed to go through that furnace of fire of life experience. That is the reason why we were allowed to be pruned. And when you share your story, you are soaring. When you share your story, it helps you to see how far you've come. It helps you, it opens you up to be of great value. You are adding value into other people's life, and you are also adding value into your life. You are growing, you are helping others to grow, and you are growing as well. I never wanted to make this video this long. As I said, I am very strong by His grace, but I will definitely come back with another Q&A on that, on this area, because I love sharing. I love to, I'm not ashamed of my scars. I'm not ashamed of, my imperfection. I want those following me to be inspired and be motivated, watching how I handle my imperfection. Those scars on me are beauty, and I intend to let my light shine. That is the purpose of those cars, for that light to shine in a dark world. The world needs that light. They need the truth in you. And you and our service to others is when we allow them to have a taste of the truth that we have discovered, and help them in their own time to also discover the truth for themselves. That's why you don't have to go trying to fix other people's life. You don't have to go trying to change people. The only person you need to change is the person you see in the mirror each time you look into the mirror. When you can change that person, you can change the world. Because it always starts with one person at a time. I always say this, that's the kingdom style. One person at a time, you know. So I hope you are motivated and you are inspired, you know, to see the importance of you sharing your story and not shying away. You know, don't mind what people will say. Don't mind what they will think of you. Don't fear their judgment. Okay? What matters is the people that you are inspiring. What matters is the value that you are putting out in the world, the value that you are putting out, and you will receive the reward at appointed time. You will receive the reward, and the reward will come from God, not from men. So do not fear men, do not fear their judgments or their rejection. Okay? Thank you for watching so far. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so. Press the notification button so that each time I upload new content, you will be the first to be notified. And please, once again, share this video with your friends. Thank you so much for being part of this community that I'm creating on this platform. I love you, but God loves you the more. Stay blessed. Bye.